Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today is the first official episode after the point 0.5 intro that was put out the other day. And I would like to say that I have a special guest on the show, longtime friend. I'll let him introduce himself, though.
What's going on? My name is Developed. That is really however you want to take it, honestly. Develop your own mindset. Develop anything but what you are now. We up on here at the Enigma Exchange with my good friend Matt. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff and things and stuff. If you like that, then stick around.
Just fucking around on the notepad. I drew a good goblin, a bad goblin, a flower, and a car.
What kind of car is it?
I have no clue. It doesn't look like any car that really exists.
The fuck is that?
I don't know.
A hidden note.
Oh,
It's candy and stuff. I think it's for like Dairy Queen shakes.
I got this book that has a bunch of recipes from fast food restaurants and stuff. So like I can make McFlurry and stuff like that at home.
Can make a McFlurry?
Yeah.
Where did you find this book?
In my laundry room.
In your laundry room?
Yeah,
So someone at some point in your family gathered said book.
In my apartment laundry room.
You yanked that bitch?
It had a note that said free.
Oh, bet. I wonder. See, I do wonder who took the time out of their day to find that book and they said, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, I want to make some McFlurries and shit. And then they said, I'm going to pass this knowledge along down the line.
I can make Snickers, Reese's, Big Macs, some shit from TGI Fridays, some shit from like Del Taco and stuff like that. A couple things from Taco Bell.
Hell yeah. You know, that's like a secret masterpiece that you're holding right there. It's like the skeleton key of at-home recipes.
I have the thing for a Shamrock Shake and the other shakes at McDonald's as well in there.
You're telling me right now that you've been hiding the secret to the Shamrock Shake?
It's not a secret. Google how to make one.
I guess I could just Google it, but I'm lazy. I always think of those things and I'm like, and I'll forget about it.
I think that's why the book was made. For old people that are too lazy for the internet. Just look up these things.
That's fair. Hey, books will be around forever. I feel like books are something that needs to be in place for certain aspects. Like I don't know which word I'm looking for. Like I think that books hold a very big part of our society together.
They used to.
They still do. We still have libraries. People still go to libraries and check out books.
We're in a digital world, though. Those are people that don't know how to find what they want online. They don't know how to be specific.
I don't know. I feel like if you burned all the world's books today, everyone would become a lot stupider because there's still a lot of information in those books that I feel like, you know, it's probably very rare, too. There's very rare, far and few pieces of information that Google probably doesn't have or is very inaccurate on, that people that wrote those books would very much be there to stand to say otherwise, you know. They'd be like, oh, well, you know, that didn't happen, or this book says this. Well, if you do and do this, it comes out to this, not what you think it is.
Maybe, my boy.
Because Google doesn't always have the answers. It always, you know, gets people assuming stuff out there, and that's how people create rumors and spread the lies that are being told out in the world today.
Yeah, but they used to do the same thing with books.
Well, of course, books, historically speaking, aren't the most accurate things. I mean, you know, we got people writing books from the 17th century. We can't exactly believe everything that they put inside of it. But here we are. Some of us do. I mean, that's most of America. All of our history books were kind of just written up. We don't know if anything that happened back then actually happened. We just kind of assume because we weren't actually there.
Right. And I feel like one day computers will just take that over because computers will be able to do the stuff to tell us. Like, hey, geographically speaking, this is what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll eventually come to that. I feel like we're still far ways away, though, because, I mean, I feel like AI will be able to generate a lot of stuff pretty soon, especially with the way that things are going nowadays. But I don't think that they'll be able to re-image or reenact events that happened back then, because, like, there's like thousands of scenarios that can be played out, and you need to reenact every single one to get the right outcome, right? Or at least you would assume so.
I don't really know. I mean, I like to think of that Futurama episode where they had the robot that could make the orbs or whatever that would tell the future, so they would know if you were going to commit a crime before you committed it. But the thing became intelligent, so it started making up its own false crimes to get people in prison.
What? I'm not familiar. I need to go back and rewatch Futurama.
You really do.
You did tell me the other day that they're coming out with that other season, right?
The new season starts up, yeah.
On Hulu.
I think it's just going to be an episode, or I don't know if it's going to be the whole season at once. Hulu likes to do the shit where it's like a weekly episode.
Yeah, one episode at a time. I was kind of a fan of that with all the animes like Bleach and Naruto when they were first coming out. Like every single Sunday, you got a new episode. That was pretty cool because then, you always had something to wait on. Every single Sunday, you were like, hey, man, new Naruto's dropping.
Used to stay up for Bleach.
And like, what was it? Cartoon Network had Toonami every single Saturday night.
That's where I saw Bleach.
Oh, yeah, dude. That was the shit. I mean, you couldn't get any better from the days back then, but...
The Toonami dude, I'm pretty sure is the guy that voiced Dempsey in Zombies.
Really? No.
I'm pretty sure. I think he's also the dude that did Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War.
No.
I think so. Now I might be stretching it a little bit, but I don't know. I know somewhere along the line those are similar.
So I'll tell you what characters he was. Steve Bloom, or Blum, sorry if I got the name wrong, was the voice actor for the Toonami guy. And he was Spike Spiegel, the guy in Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
Wolverine. Believe it or not, Orochimaru. Right? I don't know who JP Shibayama is. Yoshiro Todo. Bunch of weird people. Heat Blast from Ben 10.
Huh.
That's kind of weird. Scarecrow from Batman.
Okay.
Solomon Grundy. I feel like I don't remember where that's from. I'm a little bit too young.
Isn't that another Batman thing?
Maybe. Again, I'm a little bit too young for all that. I would need to go back and re-educate myself. He voiced Zabuza. And Lex Luthor. Hey. Vilgax. Wow.
From
Ben 10, yeah.
He's a big name in voice acting, but he's not Dempsey?
He voiced Noob.
In Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
What?
And Darkseid from the DC. No, DC versus Marvel, or DC versus
Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Killer Croc, Captain Cold, Burn. Anoki? Oh, it's that dude from Naruto. That, the sage guy that created those weird blocks, I thought. Huh. So, wait. Who was the guy that voiced...
Yeah, I thought that was the same guy, but...
You know what? Believe it or not, it didn't pop up on Google when I typed in his name. But it's still Steve Bloom. It is that same guy.
Really?
Yep, a man of many voices. That is actually pretty crazy.
He's had a great career.
Yeah, he has. See now, imagine being able to stretch out your voice, because, like, it's something that everyone has. You just need to adapt it. You need to train it. You need to work it. You need to stretch it out. I can only imagine what voice actors can do, and I actually don't even know how much they make.
A lot.
A lot?
A lot.
Oh. Yeah, you do figure, because they're on multiple different things, especially if you're good.
Yeah, like being the Toonami dude every Saturday.
Hell
paid
yeah.
good, I bet.
It's always a way to get more money out there.
Is there, like you were saying earlier, like we were talking about earlier, dog breeding?
Dog breeding.
Lucrative.
Dog breeding is the most lucrative, I would say, way to try and make money. Because again, you're spending $4,000 to $5,000 on these dogs that you need to guarantee that they are purebred. Because if they're not, people aren't going to buy them. And if they're not, you just wasted all that money on a dog that you're most likely not going to be able to get back.
Yeah.
I feel like the dog breeding world would need to be very inclusive, you know? Like, people are very upstandish. They're like, oh, my Rottweiler only mates with other Rottweilers. Because that's how it actually is. Like, people with pit bulls only mate with other pit bulls. And I mean, that keeps the bloodline going. And pit bull puppies go out for, like, purebred ones go out for, like, $1,000, $2,000. Sometimes even $5,000, depending on who the father and the mother is. I mean, there's so many different variables in it. But, again, that all loops back around to you need a lot of startup to even fund these dogs. You need to make sure they have their shots, all their shit's up to date. Because you're not going to be able to take a purebred dog that has no vaccinations to someone who has a dog with all their shots and say, hey, let's have puppies. Because they're going to be like, your dog's a mutt, basically.
Mudblood. But you know what? It's fine. Cats. A little bit easier. Breed fish.
Fish?
Yeah.
You would need exotic fish, like piranhas. Breeding piranhas can't be too hard, right?
Or goldfish. I mean, county fairs always need goldfish.
I feel like goldfish are readily available everywhere.
Yeah. But if you just make like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of them, you could be the supplier. It's like when COVID hit, a lot of people started like growing their own like micro veggies and shit. And some people grew enough to where they're able to sell to like small markets and stuff like that in bulk. And kind of made their money that way.
I remember that whole craze. Everyone was buying like shelving units and fucking fluorescent bulbs and growing tiny little basils and mint leaves and shit.
Steva is doing a tour right now. You have to sign a waiver to be able to go in.
Fuck that. I'm not signing a waiver to go on Steve-O's tour. What is... I'm gonna get shanked?
No. So it's material. It's his bucket list tour, and Annie was telling me about this. It's he's going around and showing this privately to people who are willing to pay and sign the waiver to get in. But it's like some illegal shit, some not illegal shit, just a bunch of generally crazy shit that Jackass and everyone in Jackass, Johnny Knoxville, and them told him not to do, and he went and explicitly did because of that. And he said something, like I said, some of it's illegal, some of it's legal, as Steve-O said, but he said for the purposes of not being sued, like he's having everyone sign a waiver saying they know what they're consenting to what they're going to go see in this.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, Steve-O's already a pretty cracked out guy, you know? I mean, he's definitely calmed down a lot. He's a lot older, but it'd still be pretty wild if he's like, hey, I mean, I know I'm old and all, but I was told not to do these things, and out of spite, I'm going to be doing it. You know, do you want to come do it with me?
You know, like a horror movie trailer, how sometimes they'll show, like, reactions of people in the theater, and they'll be like, and shriek back. Well, that's what people were doing to Steve-O's thing. Like, he was in his little trailer he has for it on Facebook or whatever. He was showing a crowd, and, like, they were all just kind of like, like, watching this shit.
Hey man, it's Steve-O. You gotta expect the worst. I mean, if you're not expecting the worst already, then you kind of fucked yourself.
Annie was saying something about it's like $250 for 2 tickets, and you get like 3rd or 4th row seating from the thing for Steve-O's thing. But as opposed to that, there's the Moon Man landing or whatever, the Kid Cudi, Lil Uzi, and Suicide Boys thing. And it's like $250 a ticket for some like back like row fucking tickets.
Yeah, I heard this. I mean, I can only imagine it's gonna be raw as shit.
Like, I love Uzi, I love Kid Cudi, I love Suicide Boys, but I'd kind of rather go see Steve-O's thing. I don't know. It's like Lil Wayne's tickets being like $250 a ticket for like backseat. I know it's his last tour, but like, man.
Who, Uzi's?
No, did I say Uzi? I meant Lil Wayne.
He's an old man, dude. What? He's like 50, right?
I don't know, but still.
Hold on. How old is Lil?
What is he, like 30 something?
He's 40. I just called this man the oldest nigga ever. He said, you think Young
Money's 50?
Hey, look, man. No disrespect. No disrespect. Anyway, because it's a lot more comfortable, eventually I'm going to get better seats that don't creak, because you can hear the creaks inside the headphones, too. Yeah, oh yeah. You can hear all that stuff.
That's not the chairs, that's my bones. Creaky.
You thought it was the chairs.
Happy.
Actually, just old bones.
You know, my mom texted me, she said, May the 4th be with you. And I was like, man, you know, that's in May. May 4th.
Look, man, those are them old bones. Old brain cells kicking in. But that's okay. I mean, as I get older, I plan to be an absolute nuisance. An absolute nuisance. If I ever get put inside a retirement home, I'm going to make it everyone's problem.
I'm going to be one of those old people that causes drama. Like, that tries to act senile so that people, like, never really catch on. But, like, I read this post about, like, like, a really mischievous thing to do as an old person would be, like, to act senile and whatnot. And then when, like, your son or daughter, you know, is grown up taking care of you and, you know, they're not home, you just, you start planning, like, panties and stuff in their room. So that way when they come home with their significant other, it starts a big argument and you're just there like,
no. Honestly, I feel like as an old person, you get away with a bunch more diabolical stuff than any other person on this planet. I mean, you really can have that outreach and everyone's just going to look at you like, oh, well, you know, Dylan couldn't do it. You know, he's old. Like an 80-year-old man, what is he gonna bother you for? And you're just like, fucking idiot.
That's the kind of old person I want to be. A real trouble to society.
I support it. If I live past a certain age, I mean, it's no holds barred. I'm telling everyone. When you're old, you can really kind of just do whatever. What is everyone going to say? Oh, he's old.
Unless they change the law in the state of Ohio, I'm pretty sure you can't be given, like, a life sentence or anything after the age of 82. Because, I mean, realistically, you could die in a week.
Well, yeah, you could die, but you just killed someone else, right?
Yeah, so the most they could do is throw me in a loony bin or something. Which, that's not bad. That's not jail.
You said shit, anything's better than jail.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Shout out to all the people who are really making it through jail right now. Y'all some psychotic motherfuckers.
Struggling for no reason. Stop doing it to yourself.
Stop fucking with each other. Ain't no territory, ain't no gangs, ain't no nothing. Just a bunch of motherfuckers who need to revolt.
They'll never stop being gangs. They'll never stop being people who want to be independent or be for themselves throughout society.
But you know what? A lot of people are stupid. When the Bloods and the Crips were made, it was so that they could band together against the cops. And now it's like they want to hate on each other. And it's like, why the fuck are you hating on each other? You're supposed to be against the system with each other. It don't matter if you want to rep your gang with your friends, but the idea is to unify. To show that people of opposite sides can come together against the red and blue.
I feel like to a certain point, yeah. You definitely gotta look at it at the broader spectrum, but a lot of the people that are out there just aren't. I mean, they don't really understand that, or they don't grasp that concept of, hey, if we just unified against the people that are holding us down, we might hold a better chance. But they just don't. Like, I don't know what it is. Obviously there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of guns, there's a lot of money out there that people want, and I feel like money kind of drives a lot of the hunger.
They can have all of it. I don't know, man. I think we really need a purge-like system, and I don't think just 24 hours out of the day or out of the whole year is gonna really justify it. I think we really just need like a mass purge, like a year of just nonstop violence and slaughter. And at the end of the year, whoever stands, take claim to your territory. And if someone wants to claim it from you, fucking...
I don't think anyone would be standing after that. By the way, it is the 4th of July, everyone that is going to be listening to this. Because it is 4th of July, I am doing this a little bit earlier on in the day. There's going to be a lot of booms and cracks going on later. Naturally, it is the day of celebration for independence, right?
Yeah, Independence Day.
Going back on the purge thing, if people were allowed to purge, I feel like it should be restricted. Definitely not a year. It should be restricted to a certain couple of months throughout the year. Or maybe even like a certain couple of days.
I don't know, I just think a day is too short, And I feel like the people that don't want to participate are the ones that need killed in it. Like, that's the thing I feel like the purge always got wrong. And to be fair, purgers can just choose to break into a house and kill whoever anyway. It's legal at that point. But too many people are like, we don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so you would rather people just do it in the middle of the night and on any given day? Like, without you knowing? At least this way it's organized,
I feel like they just would prefer not to happen at all.
But it needs to. Not just for the idea of like eliminating people, but resources, man. When COVID happened, all the toilet paper shortages and everyone ransacking the stores and stuff right now, or back then. Right now, I guess people are ransacking Walmarts in Chicago.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's pretty crazy.
And that's like, I guess there's just too many people at that point, No one should be able to ransack a store like that because there are other people that need to survive. And because we have people that are willing to do that, that means there's something terribly wrong.
Even if there's something that's so terribly wrong, there can be a lot of other steps taken.
Other than looting, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Tearing down their own communities.
It's just like what the riots happened in Cleveland. Allegedly, people from out of state were coming to Cleveland
just to riot.
To riot and tear up the city.
What the fuck?
And they did the most damage.
Man, of course they did. It's not their fucking place.
Exactly. So you figure every other riot, as soon as people catch wind of it, they're like, oh, well, I want to be a part of this. I'll be able to tear shit up. I could just wear a mask and do whatever I want, dip out 2 states away. No one's ever going to know anything about it. And that's right. I mean, it's true. A lot of the riots that go on, a lot of investigations that happen into it, nothing come of it because, you have thousands of masked people. You can't identify a single one. Half of them are from out of state, so you've never seen them before. They're not local. Like, you're not going to find them at the store. You're not going to find them on any security footage, or at least not not leaving the state and whatnot.
Maybe.
Just makes it rough. It also makes it an opportune time, I guess.
I've thought about it, like, going to different states to join riots, but, it's not worth it. It's a whole bunch of nonsense.
I feel like right now, rioting is kind of pointless, only because there's so much going on right now. And the more you tear down, like you said, your own community, you're not exactly helping your own cause in that factor. You're just making shit worse.
Yep.
And, so going back to the whole purge thing, in that case scenario, I guess I would agree with certain people being purged if they would, like, I feel like certain actions that people commit should be purgeable actions. Like, rioters and whatnot. I feel like the people rioting, and this is a bold statement, but I feel like the people rioting should be able to be shot dead, depending on the level of riot. Like, so there's, like, level 1 through 10 riots, right? If you're at level 1, people are fucking outside signs saying, oh, we want change, we want change. It's nothing. Like, you basically shouldn't even have police there for no reason. Like, that's nothing. At about level 5, you have some people throwing, like, rocks and stuff, and, like, some people are getting pretty aggressive, shouting some pretty hateful shit. You know, police are kind of getting aggressive. Everyone's starting to kind of get a bad edge. At about level 8, you have tear gas being deployed, and people really still aren't listening. People, like, police officers are getting hit with, like, tear gas back. People are picking up shit and throwing it at them. Like, level 10 is when you have active shooters in the riot crowd shooting at police and or civilians.
Yeah,
and at that point, I feel like the police should be able to just kind of mow everything down real quick.
That's how they did it back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's kind of right. Because, I mean, you're going to act stupid. You can't all of a sudden, at the final second, be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's not how shit works.
There's always going to be violence in life. And I feel like it's uncontrolled. But if it's controlled, it's okay. The idea is uncontrolled violence sucks. Like, entirely. The idea that it could happen to anyone at any time for no righteous cause sucks. But to know that there is violence going on to eradicate the world of the bad part of it so that we all can grow, that'd be pretty great.
Well, in this world, I feel like there's a lot of useless violence, and that's a huge part of the problem that we have today. Is that all the violence that's going on is just kind of nonsensical, and people just want to kind of keep floating around the idea of it. Like, they want to be hung up on it, and I feel like a lot of it's used to just kind of distract. I mean, that's our government's, I guess, biggest asset is, hey, we're able to tell millions of people that this drastic thing happened while this other 5 drastic things are happening, and somehow we all get wrapped up in the most unimportant shit possible.
Like that submarine.
Yeah, that submarine right now. That's the world's biggest distraction right now. And whether we realize it or not, there's all this little shit going on around us, and everyone's so fucking stuck up over the submarine for the next 2 months that we're not gonna know anything about it until it's too late, or it doesn't matter.
On a lighter note, I can't wait for that movie Oppenheimer about the guy that made the atomic bomb.
Never watched the trailer on it, never heard of it.
It's great. It's got I'm going to mispronounce his name. It's the dude from Peaky Blinders, the main guy. I can't really say much on it. I don't really know much on the movie, but I'm looking at it right now.
I need to get a newer computer. I've been looking at getting those like handheld laptop things to kind of do the podcast off of, just so it's a little bit more of a mobile experience. Pretty soon, I actually want to try and get a video camera set up, but that's all in due time. I need to work on lighting first and noise cancellation. We currently have a bunch of cars and a bee plushie on the table, and we have a blanket covering the door to reduce sound, and this little banner on the wall about Castrol GTX full synthetic maximum protection. Well, okay, and let me educate you on this a little bit. Every time I talk to Damien about it being a Russian brand, so I brought that up in Seven Hills the one day, and we all Googled it. We all did the research. Castor Oil is owned by a UK brand. Oh. So I'm pretty sure it's Shell or not Shell. Yeah, no, Shell, right? Yeah, BP.
All right. Who owns BP?
The UK.
Who owns the UK?
Persia the Queen, right?
Who owns the Queen?
Nobody.
But who owns nobody? Russia.
Mike Henderson is the CEO of Castro Oil.
Henderson.
And it says that BP bought Castrol in 2002.
Oof.
It's very weird how recently we've been getting all those oil shortages because you figure, I know that war's been going on for a pretty long time, right? I mean, it's been going on for at least almost about a year to the U.S.'s knowledge, but over in time, it's been a long time. They've been fighting for a while. So it says that it's been going on since the 20th of February 2014. 9 years, 4 months, 2 weeks, and 1 day. And we just recently were like, hey, this is kind of a problem to us. And I'm not entirely sure why at this point, but I know that it's kind of caused a lot of bullshit for everyone on the back end. Like all the manufacturers, we used to outsource a lot of stuff from Russia, surprisingly, or at least outsource stuff from China. And because China's working with Russia, we can no longer work with them, right? That's to my understanding of it.
I believe.
So, because we wanted to interject ourselves in this, we lost a lot of our product. And because of that, now we're being upcharged for all these crazy things that realistically I don't think should be priced as much as it is. But I guess we can't do much about that. Like, inflation's a very real thing, but you're inflating your own economy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, after World War One, when Germany took most of the blame, they were trying just to buy bread with basically all the money they had, bread and milk, so they could, make it through. And everyone was like, oh, well, you guys kind of deserve this. And I feel like everyone's kind of looked at America like the Germany a little recently. Like, America's bad because we have too much into everyone's personal data and security and all this stuff, and it's just bad.
It is pretty bad. But again, what can we do? I feel like a lot of the U.S. is just kind of brainwashed. We've watched all the same stuff since we were kids, and we've watched the same ads and the same propaganda throughout all of our life that was just kind of put into our heads. Something I actually would like to touch up on heading out. There's a lot of idiot drivers out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make the bold statement that as of today, I actually don't have a license still, but I still drive to work, and I don't cause a crazy amount of accidents or panic because I'm a normal person. But some of these, I know for a fact, licensed and insured drivers, they're on the road, and for the record, I am insured. They're out on the road doing all this crazy stuff and swerving into other lanes, driving in both lanes, riding up on people's lawns, speeding, just all this erratic behavior. And it just kind of blows my mind because there's only one of two things that can happen, right? Either the car malfunctioned and threw itself into whatever crazy predicament that you're now in, or you malfunctioned and you threw yourself into whatever crazy predicament you're in. And I tend to believe more so often than not that it's the person.
And if it's the person should not be driving anymore.
Exactly. And with that, we are going to end things. Thank you for tuning in to the Enigma Exchange podcast. Thank you, Dylan, for coming in and speaking on the podcast today as the first guest for the first official episode after the introduction. Episode 2 will be coming to you pretty shortly here. I plan to post at least one episode a week for quite some time. If I can squeeze 2 in there, I'll do it for you. But the editing process does take a while, so I'll try to squeeze in whatever I can. All right, tune out.